polling shows that you could lose 7 out of your 8 seats in Queensland. Is it really as bleak as that?
Well, it's not the mood I'm feeling on the ground in my electorate, and I can only speak for my patch. That's where I spend time talking to people. But I know we're in a bit of trouble. I'd never deny that. But the good thing is we've seen what a Liberal and National Party government can do in terms of austerity, in terms of job cuts, in terms of budget attacks, in terms of rising cost of living pressures. So we've seen that with Campbell Newman. So I'm hoping that will translate into people worried about having a Liberal Lord Mayor, a Liberal Premier and a Liberal Prime Minister.
But it's not delivering a polling dividend to the Labor Party. You say that you are in a bit of trouble. That's an understatement. According to this polling, even Wayne Swan and Craig Emerson could lose their seats. What does that say about how a government is tracking when its Treasurer and its Trade Minister are struggling to hold their seats?
Well, I'm not denying that we're in trouble, Alison, but we've got 100 days to make sure people understand what we have to offer for Australia, what we have delivered for Australia, and more importantly, an election campaign is when you particularly have media focus and scrutiny of what the alternative
but
government would
we're kind of
deliver.
already in that scenario, aren't we, Graham Perrott, because the Prime Minister announced the election date several months out from polling day. Aren't we already in a de facto election campaign?
Well, some might say we've been in an election campaign ever since election night 2010. That's the nature of a minority government. But that also means that many Australians, that 60% of Australians who don't particularly engage with the political process have not switched on, have not made up their mind definitively. Polling companies are one thing, test the way the wind is blowing at any particular time. Obviously the wind is blowing in a direction that's problematic for Labor, but it also means if we can stay steady and be unified as a team, which is something we haven't done consistently for a while, then maybe we could start to see that wind shift around a bit.
Now, the best case scenario is holding 4 out of your 8 seats. If that's the best that you can hope for, there goes the election anyway.
Well, Queensland does not a nation make. There are other states as well where there are opportunities. And as I said, I accept that we're in trouble and that we have to lift our game and make sure that we retail our policies a lot better and a lot more consistently than we have in the past.
You yourself are sitting on a wafer-thin margin of just 1.1%. How do you go about defending a seat with such a narrow margin? Where do you even start?
Well, the same place I started 10 years ago, and I started campaigning in Moreton. That is that you engage with people. Moreton has always been a with government seat. It always has been, back from James Killen, Jim Killen days. So that's not a surprise. I understand that, and the best thing I can do is be honest up front and engage with my electorate and make sure I go in to fight for them on the things that matter. And that's I've got a Nyanda State High School in the crosshairs of the Newman government. That's something I'll go and campaign about. I believe in supporting schools and investing in schools. I believe in the Gonski plan, and we've got a Premier who wants to close down schools and rip $2.2 billion away from schools when we're trying to put $4.2 billion into Queensland schools.
Kevin Rudd could be the last man standing in Queensland. Would it be a folly, Graham Perrott, to completely rule out a return of Kevin Rudd to the leadership even at this very late stage?
Well, I think you need to talk to Kevin about that, but he has made it very, very clear, and he's nothing but an honourable man, that he will keep to his word and be part of the team that makes sure that Julia Gillard is re-elected on September the 14th.
After September the 14th, Kevin Rudd could be not just the member for Griffith, but the member for Queensland.
Well, we'll worry about that later. Let's focus on the reality of getting to the polls on election day with Julia Gillard as the Prime Minister. That's still the plan that Kevin Rudd has signed up for. That's the plan that Kevin Rudd has publicly committed to, and I'm sure that's he will be a man of his word.
The polling is bleak for Labor, not just in Queensland, but right across the country. Today's Newspoll puts the ALP's primary vote at just 30%. That's fewer than 1 in 3 voters. Now, that must give you some very dark thoughts in these long, cold Canberra nights.
The way I treat polls, they give me half a smile or half a grimace. They don't change the work that I do in my electorate. If you live and breathe by that, you'd be a crazy politician. I just get up, do my job, talk to the people in Moreton, represent their interests. That's what they pay me to do. They're my boss. They're the people I listen to, not the pollsters.
I'm trying to work out if you're smiling or grimacing.
Not a lot of smiles today, but nevertheless, I still get on with my job.
Graham Parrott, thanks very much.
Cheers, Alison.
RN